Welcome to today's Tea Time audio story. It's time to slow down, take a deep breath, and enjoy a moment just for you. As you sip your favorite tea, let your mind drift into the world of stories, where imagination comes alive and anything is possible. Listening to audio stories isn't just entertaining, it's also a wonderful way to relax, spark creativity, and improve your English in a natural and enjoyable way. Stories have the power to transport us to far-off places, introduce us to new characters, and remind us of life's little lessons. So whether you're here to unwind, learn something new, or simply enjoy a quiet escape, this is your time. Get comfortable, let your worries melt away, and allow today's story to take you on a journey. Let the magic begin. The idea of walking into a gym had always terrified Leanna. The mirrors, the eyes, the judgment, real or imagined, felt too heavy to face. For years, she'd avoided the thought altogether, telling herself she wasn't ready. That she could work on herself alone, in the privacy of her own walks and routines. But solitude had its limits. She stood outside the gym for longer than she cared to admit. Watching. Waiting. Wondering if she could walk through the door and face what waited on the other side. Her palms were sweaty, her heart racing. She could turn around. No one would know. She could walk away, and life would go on just as it had been. But that was the problem. She was tired of the way life had been. So she took a breath and pushed open the door. The first thing that hit her was the smell. Sweat, metal, and determination. The place buzzed with energy, the thud of weights hitting the floor, the hum of treadmills, the steady rhythm of breath and effort. It was overwhelming. And everyone seemed to fit. Athletic bodies, lean muscles, confident smiles. People who belonged here. And then there was her. Her first instinct was to shrink, to make herself invisible. But she reminded herself why she came. Not to impress, not to compete, but to change. For herself. The receptionist greeted her with a bright smile, handing her a clipboard of forms. "First time?" she asked kindly. Leanna nodded, her voice caught in her throat. "Yeah. First time." The receptionist smiled again. "You're going to do great." Leanna wanted to believe that. She wasn't sure she could. She signed up for an introductory session, unsure what she was signing herself up for. Part of her hoped it would be canceled. That someone would call her and say there was a mistake. That she didn't have to face this. But no one called. And so she came back the next day. That's when she met Ava. Ava was everything Leanna wasn't. Tall, lean, confident. She wore her strength easily, like an old friend. But her eyes were kind. There was no judgment there, no mocking smile waiting to strike. "Leanna," Ava greeted, offering her hand. "Welcome. I'm glad you're here." Leanna shook her hand, hoping Ava couldn't feel the tremble. "Thanks. I'm nervous." Ava nodded. "That's okay. Everyone is, at first. You're here. That's what matters." The words were simple, but they settled something inside Leanna. She wasn't sure why. Maybe it was the kindness. Maybe it was the lack of expectation. "We're not here to chase numbers," Ava continued. "We're here to build strength. And strength isn't just muscles. It's showing up. It's facing fear. And you've already done that." Leanna's throat tightened. She swallowed past the lump. "Okay." The first workout was brutal. Not because of the exercises, though they were harder than anything Leanna had done before. but because of the battle inside her head. The fear that every eye was on her. The voice that whispered she didn't belong. That she was being judged with every step, every breath, every tremble of her limbs. Ava stayed close. She guided, encouraged, corrected her form, but never with judgment. Always with kindness. "You're doing great," she said, again and again. "Strong. Just keep moving." And when Leanna thought she would collapse, when her legs shook and sweat poured down her back, Ava simply nodded and said, "That's the feeling of growth. You're stronger already." Leanna wanted to cry. From exhaustion, from relief. But she didn't. She breathed through it. Pushed through it. And when the session ended, she stood taller. Not because her body had changed, but because she had faced the fear and survived it. The next morning, every muscle ached. She thought about quitting. About going back to walks, to solitude. But she remembered Ava's words. Strength isn't just muscles. It's showing up. So she showed up. And the day after that. And the day after that. It didn't get easier. Not right away. Every session felt like a battle. Against her body. Against her mind. Against the years of self-doubt that clung to her like shadows. But Ava was always there. Encouraging, patient, steady. She never pushed too hard, but she never let Leanna quit, either. "You're stronger than you think," she said once, as Leanna struggled with weights that felt impossibly heavy. Leanna shook her head. "I don't feel strong." "That's because you're still becoming." "But I see it. I see you becoming stronger, every single day." The words stayed with her. Became her mantra. Her hope. And then, one day, something shifted. It wasn't a big moment. There was no applause, no announcement. Just a small realization, quiet and steady. She lifted more weight than before. She moved with more confidence. Her body still ached, but it didn't feel like defeat. It felt like victory. Small, but hers. And it wasn't just about the weights. It was about walking into the gym without fear. About standing in front of the mirror without shrinking. About holding her head high, even when doubt whispered otherwise. She was still overweight. Still struggling. But she was also stronger. And that strength wasn't measured in pounds or sizes. It was measured in courage. In determination. In showing up, day after day. Leanna found herself looking forward to the gym. Not because it was easy, but because it reminded her of who she was becoming. Of the power that was hers to claim. She looked forward to Ava's encouragement, to the quiet understanding that passed between them. It wasn't about appearances. It wasn't about fitting in. It was about becoming who she wanted to be. And that was enough. For now. Thank you for joining today's Tea Time story. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of imagination and storytelling. Whether it made you smile, sparked a new thought, or simply gave you a moment to relax, we're grateful to have shared this time with you. Thank you for listening and being part of our story time. Keep dreaming, keep imagining, and we'll see you again for another magical tale soon. Until next time, take care and happy listening.